Here we are in San Francisco at the Randall Museum. We are going to go on a tour to explore all the amazing things in San Francisco, California, in terms of wildlife, native plants, and other exciting things. And Josephine Randall was actually the first superintendent of San Francisco, and she had a vision. She had a mission. She wanted to inspire creativity, curiosity, and the love for learning about the world. The Randall Museum, there are native pollinator gardens where we are promoting wildlife to interact with these habitats. We are going to go inside to go on a tour to see the Nature Museum for children. The idea is to provide an opportunity to build natural connections to native plants, to the California diverse wildlife. One thing I will say, Albert Einstein once had a quote, and he said, "Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better." We're going to explore some habitats today. We might see chaparrals and grasslands. We might see riparian, desert, and urban environments, as well as ocean and redwoods. We are here in the Randall Museum, and we're going to make a generous donation because this is a wonderful place for future generations to enjoy. So we're going to contribute right now in this beautiful, looks like a California quail. Do that. Oh, you open his head like that. That's kind of fun. And we'll just drop in a little donation. This is wild in California. So let's go check out some of the creatures that live here in San Francisco. So here we are in the Randall Museum, really enjoying the Wildlife California exhibit, learning more about ecosystems while we're interacting with the exhibits and the animals that live here. And right behind me, you're going to see Lyra, which is a raccoon that they've rescued, and here she is. Hi, Lyra. What are you doing? So you can see Lyra is a very intelligent creature that knows how to climb extremely well. And a lot of people look at raccoons and think they're scavengers, and they are. They're always in our waste bins looking for food. The North American raccoon, and she just took a bath, and now she's just walking around and drying herself off. And raccoons are mammals found throughout Northern and Central and South America, and they're omnivorous, and they feed both on plants and animals, often foraging in bodies of water. They're very intelligent creatures. There she goes, back in the water. So one thing interesting about the riparian habitat, it actually comes from the water that rushes down the California mountains and the hills, and it actually breaks off bits of the rocks. And the rocks roll around the river, and they get roughed up, tumbled, and bumped and scraped, and they wear down into smaller bits of sand and powdery dirt. The sand is broken from mountain rocks, and it contains minerals that the plants need. A lot of these plants grow along the riverbank and drop leaves that decay and mix with the sand. Here we have a western toad, and they're very adaptable and found throughout many California's diverse habitat types. Typically found in the grasslands, but you might see them in riparian zones as well. Over here we have the Pacific chorus frogs, which can be found in Mountain Lake. And they are small frogs, and they love the reeds and the plants and the wetland habitat. This is a weasel. He's a fast-moving weasel. So this is a California king snake, coiled up and resting on a rock. And this is a Pacific gopher snake. Gopher snakes flatten their heads in order to mimic venomous rattlesnakes. You can see this one is coiled up but actively moving its head. This plant right here is called the Indian paintbrush, and it's a model of the plant, but you can see how the hummingbirds come to this plant and they dip their long beak into the flower to take a sip. And at the same time, they're collecting the pollen on his beak, and then they fly off to another flower, and they drop their pollen to create more Indian paintbrush. So it's really quite incredible how animals and wildlife promote more native plant growth. So here we are in the desert habitat, and this is a desert tortoise. So Mojave came down. Mojave is eating. It looks like it's some leaves right now, maybe some kale. I see some fruits. Mojave looks really hungry. Again, this is a desert tortoise that is feeding and having a good breakfast. So living in San Francisco, very urban environment, you might forget about some of the honeybees and what they do to establish some of the beautiful ecosystems in San Francisco. So this is a dinosaur tibia bone from over 150 million years ago. Amazing. So we can take a closer look at some of the seeds that actually create a lot of these plants in a station like this. This is a North American toad, and this toad has rough and bumpy skin that acts as a protective barrier to prey and against dry conditions. It's adapted for walking rather than jumping, and the powerful limbs of toads allow them to dig deep underground during times of drought. This is the collared lizard, and it's capable of bipedal movement. And these predatory lizards can actually run on their hind legs for short distances. They also have powerful jaws that allow them to catch large prey, including other lizards. So we're entering the ocean environment now. So here you see 4 different San Francisco Bay and Outer Coast habitats: rocky, intertidal, sandy beach, wetland, and bay and estuary, which is a saltwater environment. And it looks like they have a skate over here. Ooh, look at this exhibit. Looks like we have some sand dollars in there, some woolly sculpins, some purple olive snails. Looks like a bunch of anemones. So in this exhibit is the black-eyed goby, and one thing interesting about the black-eyed goby is that these fish have specialized pelvic fins that act as a suction cup, allowing them to walk along the seafloor. Let's explore to see if we can find any. So these are the hawk-billed turtles, which are severely endangered to the many threats. A lot of illegal killings of these turtles for their shells, and a lot of the pollution in forms of plastic bags is another killer that's affecting them as they're floating in the water, these bags, and they actually look like jellyfish, which they like to eat, and they get confused and they eat them. So we got to be careful about these beautiful sea creatures and make sure we're doing our part. So another great feature of the Randall Museum is actually the wood shop, where you can come into and build with tools and learn all about wood making and design. What a beautiful workspace. And in the basement, they have the Riding the Rails exhibit, how the trains shape the West. Let's check it out. So here they're teaching us about the foundation of the soil. And we're looking at Golden Gate Park sand, black sand beach, human-made sand, and ocean beach sand. And if you look down below, that really shows the powdery substance of what makes the rocks. And then down below, you can actually see where the rock actually comes from. Let's get a closer look. This looks like Golden Gate Park sand, granite, black sand beach, which is serpentine, human-made sand, solid cement, and ocean beach, magnetite. Listen to the redwoods. Coastal redwood forests are a magnificent sight. Did you know they are also rich in sound? So here you will hear the sounds of the dozen creatures that thrive in this complex habitat. You'll hear the flow of water and streams. The sounds and recordings were made by soundscape ecologist Bernie Krause, a pioneer in recording natural soundscapes. He recorded all the sounds we're going to hear in this old-growth redwood forest from dawn to dusk on a spring day. American robin. Inside they have a bird aviary and they're featuring some crows, which are very intelligent birds that actually know how to make and use tools, whether they're building a nest, they're searching for food, or some other intelligent projects they pursue. Such a beautiful space here in Corona Heights, featuring California native wildflowers, a nice seating area to have a picnic, observe and draw and paint and play and connect. I really hope that you make it out here to the Randall Museum to experience and discover all the wonderful things about plants and animals. So this is a sculptural art piece called Windswept by Charlie Bowers, and as you see, as the wind is moving, it turns these little structures in different directions.